Every few months, I put on an event with hundreds of people in this space right here. And I built it as a place for financial transformation. This is where I teach people not only how to make money, but the psychology that will help them make that money. And you know what? It's interesting. People always come to the event. They're like, wow, Kris, I thought I was coming here for you to teach me about how to make money. And by the way, you certainly did that. But what I didn't expect was your knowledge bank on positive psychology and how much that was holding me back from making the money that I've always wanted to. So you know what? I decided today I'm gonna make a video for you, and I'm gonna talk about the words I observe that hurt people the most financially, but frankly in every area of their life, so that we can change those patterns.
One shot, now the future is yours. Go! I'm turning dreams into reality. Yeah. It's one shot, now the future is yours. Go!
Man, you hear everyone today talking about the power of your words, and it's like some of the words that we use are creating so much success, and there's other people claiming that there are certain words that we use that are just killing our success. And you know, you could look at me and say, oh yeah, Kris, I get it. You know, you're making all of this money, you own all of these businesses, you're having all these success. You must have gotten lucky, like rolling the dice in Vegas. Or there's a science to success, and today you're about to get maybe one of the most important pieces of that science. Whoa. Words like are dictating whether I'm successful or not? That's stupid. Isn't it what you do that really matters? Isn't it the things that you do and don't take action on? Isn't it more about the strategy or the opportunity? I mean, it seriously really can't come down to thinking, can it? Okay, bear with me because this is gonna be a little bit cheesy, but many years ago, there was that video that was circulating called The Secret. And this was at a time in my life when I was very frustrated because I would get up a couple of times a week to play racquetball with my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law is naturally way more athletic. He's super competitive. And I introduced him to the sport. So at first I beat him, but once he really caught on, it got to the point where every week he would beat me 3 games in a row. And he started beating me so bad that I just get frustrated and I found no fun in the game. Then enters The Secret, right? This whole video about the law of attraction and all these experts talking about the power of thoughts becoming things. And I'm like, come on, this is like hocus pocus, right? Like this is woo-woo stuff. This isn't real. But I decided it couldn't hurt to give it an experiment on my racquetball. So you know what I did? The night before my brother and I were gonna play racquetball, I decided to spend 30 minutes of meditation. And I saw myself wailing on that ball with perfect placement, always being where the ball needed to be. I had all this new levels of strategy and precision in my hits. And then I got to the court 30 minutes early and I just was hitting the ball and warming up and just telling myself these words like, I have perfect placement, I have perfect serves, the ball goes exactly where I want it to. I kid you not. My brother-in-law shows up, same routine, but I beat him like 15-0.
I want you to suck it.
You suck it.
What's happening right now? Because this has not ever happened before. Played a second game, I beat him badly. He had a few points, beat him the third game really good. And it was just like, from night to day, it was like, where did this come from? Week after week after week, I would beat him all 3 games in a row until I finally started feeling a little bit bad. And I handed him the video and I said, hey, if you kind of want to know why all of a sudden I'm starting to win, I think you should watch this. Let's dive in and talk about this, because what I want to share with you today is something that I've been working at now for the last 20 years. I'm going to call it using language to call into creation what you want. My experience of most people is that by the time we exit childhood and enter adulthood, we've been living in this no world, right? Parent says, don't touch the fire, don't walk into the street. And some of those no's come very, very forcefully. There's a stat that says we've heard no 50,000 times, no, don't, can't, shouldn't, by the time we are 16 years old. So I want you to think about that for a little bit. All of a sudden you're an adult one day and all these no's, you're not gonna get anywhere in life until you learn to say yes, except most of us have not adapted to that positive thinking because we're living in a world with good versus bad. And most of us, no-based thinking is usually bad-based thinking. So we're not opportunistic. We're not ready to seize the day. No carpe diem over here, because we have these words that have formed this framework in our mind that just say no to everything.
No, God, please, no, 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 no!
The first thing I want to share with you today is that you need to beware of superlatives especially the negative ones. Superlative is like black or white thinking, and it's no, don't, can't, shouldn't. It doesn't leave room even for the possibility of something maybe meeting in the middle, let alone something that would be good or positive. Check it out. Words like good, bad, most, best are superlatives and are an absolute totalitarian way of thinking. In every situation, there's a silver lining in the bad, and there's sometimes bad in the good. This is about opening up our mind to start saying, hey, by default, I can't just say no, don't, can't. I need to start opening myself to the possibility that maybe I can do things that I didn't think were possible. And yet on the other hand, it's not totally like everything is good and amazing and awesome when you're waist deep in crap and things aren't looking that well. It's about living in reality, and it's being aware that your words are forming reality. If you don't like where you're at and all you do is focus on the negative, I promise you, you're going to get what you think about. Scientists have even proven that thoughts are things stored in the gray matter of our brain in grams, like 0.00000 grams. That thought, it's like you gave birth to something and it's now living and breathing inside of you. And the more you think about it, the more it's going to form. If you understood the power of a single negative thought, you'd stop having them because there's so much energy behind them. When in fact, what you need to learn is that you want to live inside a reality and start searching for better words, often more accurate words. Check it out. A better and more useful approach would be to look at each and every situation and apply the words advantage or disadvantage as opposed to good or bad. These ideas are more holistic. They're more accurate. They're going to align more with reality. Reality is it's like, well, let me show you how you can make $150,000 right now. You might say, oh, that is so good. But you know what? What if there's some bad in there? It's useful for you to start saying, well, maybe there are disadvantages to this particular strategy. Right now, my buddy's like, Kris, I'm thinking about buying this business. Literally, do you think that I should? And it's not good or bad conversation. It's, well, the advantage is you're going to have more money. The disadvantage is you're going to have less time. There might be another opportunity that will give you more money without subtracting as much time. So you become more accurate when you start saying, okay, pros and cons as opposed to good, bad, because good and bad superlative thinking just basically says, well, all of a sudden I'm shut off from all of these possibilities or I'm shut off from all of those possibilities when right now what you need more than anything is more options. Today, I want to share with you a philosophy that has come together from paying millions of dollars to mentors who have shared with me different words for producing different outcomes in my life. And for me, I'm not just talking about making more money. That might be why you're a subscriber on this channel. There are actually 3 areas of wealth that for me make up this holistic view of my world. And it has to do with money. I'd call that wealth. It has to do with my health, which is very much a type of wealth. It has to do with my relationships that I call connection. And this Venn diagram is something I created years ago where we're blending the benefits of what happens when you're living wealthy, when you're living healthy, and when you're living truly connected to yourself and other people. And if you can change your words in all these areas of life, this is what ultimately leads in this grand design to having it all. Like, level with me right now. If you had the health and the nutrition and an easy time maintaining the healthiest version of your body, how would you feel inside? You'd feel amazing. Or imagine that you had a really easy time manifesting money through owning businesses and real estate, and you weren't, busy using your time on growing these businesses. You'd learn the art of investing and making your money work for you. So imagine that you have an abundance of more money that you need. But on top of that, imagine having your health and wealth without the love of your life or the people in life that you love. So your relationships, maybe that significant other, your children, or your family members, your friends, you want those relationships to be as healthy as possible. When you have all of those things working towards your good, when I meet someone that has that, I start saying to myself, man, that dudette, they are lucky. They got it all going on. And there's a way that they're creating that triple win. It starts with our words. For a moment, let's just talk about how practical and real this is, right? Let's talk about our health. When someone hasn't really had their health awakening and they meet a marathon runner, they think to themselves, it's always the same phrase. That person is crazy, right? Because what we're really saying is, I could never see myself doing that. But often that's the same person that says, dude, I don't want to get up in the morning, go to the gym, or I don't want to eat healthier. Like, I don't know if it's really worth the benefit. I'm going to call that what some might call bad or problematic thinking, right? Because think about the words. Oh, it's hard to go to the gym. It's hard to get up in the morning. Oh, it's just not easy for me. Oh, I've got bad genetics. My body just doesn't, I've got the sugar addiction. I can't really do anything about it. And I have to have my pop, of course. And, so there's this internal dialogue regarding health that is leading to an unhealthy outcome. I'm going to tell you right now that part of having a strong, healthy body is not just what you eat, but it's how you grow your body with your muscles and taking fat off your body.
Go ahead, try and grab some flab. Go on. No, not there.
That means that you have to develop some healthy language around exercise and nutrition, which means that you're going to have to put faith into words that feel untrue and uncomfortable at first if you want them in time to become true. For just a moment, let me just give you an example. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're religious or not or spiritual minded, but if you take a look at all world religions, they all have the same creation story. And the creation story almost always starts the same way. There's this figure, God, and then he sees unorganized matter and basically says, you know what, let's form that into an earth. Nothing was there, thought it, spoke it, and then it came about. And then he says, you know, this place is kind of dark. We need some light. Let there be light. It wasn't there, thought it, spoke it, and then it was there. There's things that are happening along the way, but there's a pattern here with, hey, this place is dry. We need some water. This place is kind of boring. We need some animals. Maybe we need some humans here. And the idea is our thoughts become words that become things. This is a pattern in our life. Like, for example, if you've ever struggled with your health and you've told yourself, oh my gosh, going to the gym is hard. The longer you tell yourself that story, it becomes harder and harder to ever want to find the motivation to go to the gym. So use the same methodology to create what you want. Tell yourself, I like going to the gym. Going to the gym is fun. Kris, that is such a lie. Of course it is. Because if you practice the wrong thing long enough, it'll start to feel right. Well, the opposite needs to also become true. You need to start thinking how you want to feel. And then I'm going to tell you something. Out there, people will tell you, well, Kris, if you want to form a habit, it just takes 3 weeks, 21 days. That's not my experience. My real experience is that it's going to take 5 months, which means you're going to have to bring some commitment. I got 2 guys on my team I'm working with. I'm working with Casey and I'm working with Ryan. I committed these guys in a year to follow my plan to each lose 100 pounds. Right now, one of them is down 88 pounds. The other one is down over 70 pounds. And we're only halfway through our journey together. And right now, it's interesting. Month 1, it's like, oh, I hate getting up early. I hate going to the gym. Month 2, well, I'm starting to accept it. It's not easy, but we're doing it. Month 3 is like, it's amazing. I'm taking some layers off and that kind of feels good. By month 4, it's like, I think this is actually really good for me. By month 5, this is my pattern. There's nothing you can do to stop it. They're defending now how important it is to go to the gym. How'd they get there? They started with new thoughts they didn't have before. Maybe I should tell myself that I need to like going to the gym if someday I actually want to enjoy it. And I'm telling you right now, when it comes to your nutrition, there are foods that you're eating that you shouldn't. So look at the foods you should and start telling yourself, man, those things taste good. I crave those things. I want those things. I need those things in my life. If the gym is something you need in your life, or if it's finding other joyful movement through walking or yoga, exercise, or riding a bike, whatever it is that floats your boat, get active and get moving and tell yourself it's fun, it's enjoyable, and something you want to do. Change the dialogue and the conversation upstairs in your head that you've been having on health. And if you can stick with these new patterns, you'll move from hating it to acceptance to eventually loving it. I'm going to tell you right now, money is the exact same game. Because I don't know about your upbringing, but in mine, my parents fought about money. They were always in debt. I come from a large family, 8 other brothers and sisters, so there was never enough. And of course, my dad was always yelling at my mom because of how she spent the money or racked up the credit cards again. They needed to refinance the house to get out of debt. And that's what I was brought up with. My wife was brought up with something different. It's like, we have money because we don't spend money. Be frugal. Don't spend money on fun, joy, or enjoyment too much, just a little bit. And for them, that was the worst thing on the planet. So 2 different ideologies. My wife and I could have been a byproduct of her upbringing. We took the good that we love from both of them, but then we used words to transform our finances. For example, it's popular for people to think that it takes money to make money. Well, if you believe that, it's true, but they never really said whose money it has to be, did they? Or this idea that money is the root of all evil, and maybe it's a religious idea. And so, there's some old puritanical wiring back in here that says, money is bad and rotten and evil, and, rich people are also filthy and they stink. They're stinking, rotten rich, right? And these are ideas, and what we've done is we've heard these things and we've adapted to them and we've adopted them as our way of being. And I'm asking you to challenge right now. Are those words making you wealthier, or are they creating resistance? I promise you that if you could eliminate the resistance on the language in your life that you have around money, you'd start allowing it to flow into your life. Because I bet you have annual resolutions of making more money. I bet you want to be more abundant. But if you pivot that against well, maybe money will keep me from going to heaven, or maybe it'll put me in a category I don't want to be associated with, then ultimately you're sending mixed signals and you're not going to be aligned. You're not going to get what you want. You got to change the conversation on money. For example, you know what? Making money is easy. Dude, I get it. That may not be true right now, but 5 months from now, believing that way, you might actually find a hack where making money becomes a little bit easier. And now you have evidence of that truth. And guess what you're going to do now? You're going to start looking for more evidence and more evidence and more evidence. You can either argue for what you don't want in life, which is what most people do, or you can argue for what you do want. I'm inviting you to get clear that you should remove the words in your mind and that you speak that produce resistance on growing wealth, and instead say, you know, I'm a successful investor. Growing my money is easy. It's fun. I actually love making money. I'm really, really, really good at it. I love creating value for other people. I'm good at taking my money. I'm great at investing in it. I'm really good steward with it. I'm great at growing it. Those thoughts may not feel true in this moment. They might not even be true in this moment. But all creation starts somewhere, and it starts in the mind. And it takes confidence and courage to speak the words, especially to other people that will hold you accountable. And then if you stick with it long enough, you're going to have the evidence that says, you know what? I found there's truth in that, and now I'm going to magnify that. I'm going to grow that, and as a result, you're going to have more money. And you could have the fittest, strongest body, and you could have all the money. But if you are without love, you are probably less happy. You're probably not as fulfilled, because there's something that we all crave. We crave being loved. We crave loving. Relationships are a core part of being a complete and fulfilled, satisfied human being. And first and foremost, you're in a relationship with yourself. So let me just ask you, how do you talk about yourself? Because when people really get honest with themselves, you know what I find them saying about themselves? Man, I suck at this. I'm not good at that. I can't do that. I'll never be able to figure that out. And all of a sudden, you're just like, well, your self-esteem is weak because of how you speak to yourself. How do you think that reflects on the rest of the world? Well, if you're a mother or a father or a husband, if you have then friends, that's going to carry forth out to them. And you have that significant other. If you don't treat yourself right, you're not going to treat them right all the time. I'm going to tell you that. If you're a parent and if you don't love yourself, how much love do you really think that you have to offer a child? And then of course you have even the strangers out there on the street that from time to time we get to interact with. Connection to yourself starts with speaking good so that you can get good. What's your inner dialogue with yourself? What are the words that you've been craving to hear from other people yet never satisfy? You're the hero you've been waiting for. These are words that you need to hear from yourself, and you should write yourself a love letter. You should tell yourself how amazing you are. You should be honest and tell yourself what you're actually good at. You should take the opportunity to reflect positively on all the good things, because most of us, we're reflecting more on the negative things, and hence, when you think about negative things, you're going to get more of what you think about. You're going to get the things that you don't want in life. If you want a happy, more loving, productive life in your relationship quadrant, then you're going to have to improve the language that you use for yourself and about other people so that the drama can diminish and you can awaken to more satisfaction that is already available. It's just waiting for you to give yourself permission to use the right words. Listen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I've got a couple of pro tips for you right now that can really help you take this message and harness it at a higher level. The first one is, in a link below, I've got a free copy of my book, Limitless, for you. This book is all about reframing negative self-talk and turning it into something really positive. It's about overcoming limiting beliefs and then trading them for positive, empowering beliefs. The second suggestion that I want to give you is to invite you to come out to one of my events. Like, I get it takes time off work and effort and some money to rent a hotel or an Airbnb to come here, but I'm going to tell you, when people spend 3 days with me, constantly people are professing that it was either the best 3 days of their life or one of the most transformative experiences of their life, because it's not just about how to make more money. It's about how to think in a way that will lead to outcomes like having more money, feeling more love, having more intimacy, or feeling better about your body, your health, your life. Listen, we all want to have it all. And it might seem daunting to think that you can work on all three of those areas at once, but I promise you it's possible. Come out to a live event with me, share in a life-changing experience. I promise if it's not life-changing, I'll refund the cost of your ticket and your expenses. I've never had to do it before on the thousands and thousands of people that have attended, and I'm not going to start with you. It's an opportunity for you to experience a really powerful upgrade by being in my airspace and me in yours. Other than that, get a copy of the book. Both of these can lead to really powerful, positive outcomes. Just do yourself a favor right now. Start reflecting positively in your language inside here on these three areas of life, and that will be a great start to elevating everything. Every single time I've hired a mentor to help me make more money, they always spent time on my personal psychology. Turns out that literally the real estate between your ears, is the secret to producing more of the results that you want in your life. In fact, I made a video all about the power of mentors and why we need them if you want a 10x or 100x your results. Click here and I'll see you there.
I would recommend this event to someone else because it truly is life-changing.
Just watching the way Kris works and what he's doing with these individuals was more than mind-blowing, and I felt so empowered by that.
I would recommend UFD to someone who is ready for a change. If